Lesson 4.7, our outcome. We're back to absolute values. Okay, we're going to be looking at absolute value of a number, and we're going to be solving and graphing absolute value equations. Okay, that's going to be the biggie. Absolute value should be a review. Here we go. Absolute value. The definition, it's simply a number's distance from zero. How many spaces from zero is that number? And it's represented by these bars here. These are absolute value bars. Okay? So the absolute value of 7. How many spaces from 0 is 7? It's 7. How many spaces from 0 is negative 13? It's 13 spaces. Okay? If I have my number line here, here's 0, here's negative 13. How many spaces do I have to go to get to 0? I got to go 13 spaces. What's the absolute value of 0? How many spaces from 0 is 0? It's 0. The answer is just 0. The big point here is absolute value is positive. Distance is always positive. Can you run negative miles? No. Oh, there it is. Distance is always positive. And you can't see that. Let's bring that up a little bit. That's going to be important. Distance is always positive. There we go. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So let's try these out. Let me get my pen again. There we go. The absolute value of negative 130. The absolute value of 4 times 5. The absolute value of 9 divided by the absolute value of negative 3. And then this one's tricky. Be careful. The negative, meaning the opposite, absolute value of negative 12. Go ahead and pause me and you try to do these 4 on your own, because I'm going to go through and do the answers. Alright, absolute value of negative 130. It's just 130. It's 130 spaces from 0. The absolute value of 4 times 5. Well, 4 times 5 is 20. So it's 20. Absolute value of 9. Well, that's 9. Divided by the absolute value of negative 3. That's 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. This one's tricky because the absolute value of negative 12 is 12. It's just 12 spaces from 0. But then we have this negative sign on the outside. That means the opposite. So what's the opposite of positive 12? Negative 12. The answer is negative 12 because you just drag that negative sign that's on the outside right over here. It simply means the opposite. Okay? Alright. Now we're going to solve them. Solving absolute value equations. So we have the absolute value of x is equal to 9. So we need to know what numbers can I put in here, in for x, that will give me 9 spaces from 0. So here's 0 on the number line. I need to go to the left, and I need to go to the right. What number or numbers can I put in for x that will be 9 spaces away from 0? Good. There's 2 answers. I can go to positive 9. That's 9 spaces away from 0. Or I can go to negative 9. That's 9 spaces away from 0. The big thing here is absolute value equations have 2 solutions. Okay? There are 2 solutions. There we go. That's a little better. Alright, the next one. The absolute value of x has to equal 12. I want to know what numbers will give me a distance of 12 from 0. I can go to the left or to the right. Well, if I look at my number line, there's 2 answers there. I can have positive 12, that's 12 spaces from 0, or I could have negative 12. Get that pen again. If I put negative 12 in here, the absolute value of negative 12 Does that equal 12? Well, what's the absolute value of negative 12? It's just 12. 12 equal to 12. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. What about 12? What's the absolute value of 12? It's just 12. So again, 12 is equal to 12. Absolute value is a distance from 0. Okay? So we want to know what numbers can go in here to make this distance 12. You might want to pause that and rewind it. Here's the next one. All right. Absolute value is all about the distance. Okay? And distance is always positive. You can't go negative miles. And a number's opposite. Okay? I say opposites because look at what our solutions were. 9 and negative 9. So read this for a minute. What numbers can I put in for x where the distance from 0 is 9? So here I've done one on a number line for you. And you can see it. Okay. Here is 0. I need to go to the right and I need to go to the left. If I'm going two directions, I'm going to have two numbers. Okay? Here's 9 and here's negative 9. Are these each 9 spaces away from 0? Yeah, that's 9 spaces away from 0. Is this 9 spaces away from 0? Yes, it is. So I needed a distance of 9. I keep reiterating this because of our next question. You ready? Here's why. Let me get this out of the way. Now we have an equation, an absolute value equation. X minus 3, the absolute value bars of that, equals 9. So, this is what you're going to be given. I'm asking us this question right here. What values can we put in for x that will be 9 units from 0? This is our distance. We're looking at a distance of 9. But what I want you to think about is 9 in which direction? I can go 9 to the positive side, but I can also go 9 to the negative side. So with absolute value, you're going to have two equations because this 9 is simply telling me the distance, but I know I can go left and I can go right.
Everybody that brought something has to
Okay, so I want to show you that. Let me get my
pants, whatever you brought in, dishes,
pen.
food, whatever's left, please clean it up. Thank you.
This is what I want right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Oh my goodness.
Now, not at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Here are our two equations. I can have 9 to the left is negative, or I can have 9 to the positive. 9 is to the positive. So with absolute value, I'm looking at distance, and distance, the distance from 0, I can go to the left or I can go to the right. So I end up with two equations. All right. Then you just solve it like a regular one-step equation. I need to get x by itself, so I have to do the inverse of negative 3, which is plus 3. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I've done that. Let me move this somewhere. And I get x is equal to negative 6. That's 1. That's going to the left. If I go left 9 units, I need to go to the right 9 units. So I have x minus 3 equals positive 9. I'm going to do the same thing. I still want to isolate the variable. So the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3, so I add 3 to both sides, and I get x is equal to 12. So I can plug in negative 6 for x, or I can plug in 12, and I'm still going to get the right answer. And here's the check for that. Let me get rid of these. Delete, delete. Here it is. I've plugged in negative 6 for x. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. 9 is equal to 9. I have, on this side, 12 minus 3. I plugged in 12 for x, and 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 minus 9, those are equal. that's been justified. So with an absolute value equation, you have two answers. X can be equal to -6. It can also be equal to 12. Let's try another, because these are confusing. Let me get my pen. All right, got my pen, and here we go. 2x plus 1, the absolute value of 2x plus 1 equals 11. I'm looking for a distance of what from 0? 11. I need a distance of 11. Give me two numbers that have a distance of 11 from 0. Positive 11 and negative 11. That means I have to set this absolute value equal to both, equal to 11 and negative 11. Whoosh. Oh, looky there, I had it here. I need to be 11 units from 0. That can be 11 and negative 11. All right, we've got that. Now we need to set up our two equations, and there they are. And for the time being, once you get your two equations, you can ignore the absolute value bars. Okay, you're just going to solve it like regular. Solve like a normal equation. But I have two to solve. All right, here we go. Here's the first one. 2x plus 1 equals negative 11. 2x plus 1 equals 11. You take a moment and solve both, because I'm just going to pull this down and show you what it looks like. All right, here we go. We had to do -1 from both sides. Okay, -1, -1. These cancel. I'm left with 2x equals negative 12. I need to isolate this variable. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X is equal to negative 6. I also did the same thing for this equation. Okay, inverse operation, both sides. 2x is equal to 10. Inverse operation, x is equal to 5. Your job is now to plug it back in and make sure that it works. Justify. Let me make sure you can see this. And you cannot. There we go. Okay. I've plugged in x for negative 6. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. But it's in the absolute value bars. What's the absolute value of negative 11? It's 11. Do the same thing over here. Plug in 5 for x. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. What is the absolute value of 11? It's 11. It works. Please go back through and make notes of questions that you have. If you need to replay this, please replay it. This is a harder concept. It's going to take a couple of tries.